Indiahikes has played a very big role in bringing Jammu and Kashmir trekking alive. And it wasn't so until India stepped into Jammu and Kashmir. And you need to know the backdrop of it. When we were younger, and Indiahikes had just started, I'm talking about 2008, 2009, and even prior to that, trekking in Jammu and Kashmir was unheard of. Not because Jammu and Kashmir did not have great treks, the simple fact that because that place was very strife, with a lot of terrorism and all of those activities were going on, there was a general scare about stepping into Jammu and Kashmir. People from the mainland, even if they went to Jammu and Kashmir, it was mainly tourism in the well-known places like, Srinagar, Gulmarg, Sonmarg, Pahalgam, and a little bit of Amarnath Yatra. Amarnath Yatra was always going on. But otherwise, Jammu and Kashmir was a place which trekking nobody thought of. Even in our trekking circles, even in amongst our friends, we never thought of trekking in Jammu and Kashmir. Which is why the trekking culture in Jammu and Kashmir, unlike Himachal Pradesh or Uttarakhand, was never a culture which the rest of the country knew. There were a few trekking that was happening in Jammu and Kashmir, usually by the locals themselves, and a few foreigners who ventured to Jammu and Kashmir, they would be trekking. But outside Jammu and Kashmir, nobody really knew about trekking in Jammu and Kashmir. This background is very important for everybody to know, for what I'm going to share the story of how trekking kind of suddenly took off in Jammu and Kashmir. So now the story starts this way, is that Indiahikes had just started 2008, 2009, 2010. We were documenting and bringing out some great treks in our country. So this documentation, talking about treks in our country was a very common thing that we would do amongst ourselves. And one day there was a discussion that was going on within ourselves that which are some of the greatest alpine lakes and the treks around them that we have been to or we know of. And obviously, a lot of this conversation, Roopkund, Kedartal, then this trek, that Masartal, Sahasratral, then we were talking about this very famous trek which is there in Himachal Pradesh, which had a very big trek, Chandratal. So a lot of these alpine lakes we had heard of, we were talking about, and Batu I told people that look, you all can talk about any alpine lakes in our country, but if you haven't seen the alpine lakes in Jammu and Kashmir, you have not seen alpine lakes at all. And there was a pin drop silence in the room. And everybody looked at me and said, what are you talking about? Now, in my past, I had been to Jammu and Kashmir long before even terrorism had started. So I know what these lakes are, and I have been to some of these and I had been flabbergasted. I was as young as 8, 9, 10 years old at that time. Even after that, in my many readings of journals and books, I have come across some fabulous lakes in Jammu and Kashmir which have been spoken very highly about, and that memory had stayed with me for a very long period of time, and that's what I blurted out. Is that look, if in our country I have not seen some of these greatest alpine lakes of our country, then let's not talk about alpine lakes, because that is where you'll find it. And Jammu and Kashmir is known not only for alpine lakes, but hundreds of them. And everybody was taken aback because, very frankly speaking, most people's knowledge about Jammu and Kashmir, because of lack of exposure of Jammu and Kashmir with the mainland, was very limited. Information hardly came out of Jammu and Kashmir, and we ourselves didn't think too much about Jammu and Kashmir, especially on these aspects. So everybody was excited. What are you talking about? What lakes and this and that? So I said, there are a lot of lakes. I know names of few, but frankly, my knowledge is also very sketchy. We need to actually go and explore some of those treks over there. What are those treks? How can we explore? I said, I don't know much about it. I just know a little bit over there, but we need to find out more details. So can we go and explore Jammu and Kashmir? The team started asking. Sandhya started asking. She got very kicked up. Sandhya is my co-founder, and she said, can I can we go? Can we explore trails? And I said, hang on, yes, I think we can. But is it safe? That's the only question which comes to people, man. Is it safe? We'll be all alone in these places. Will people be there? I said, yes, it should be safe because, Jammu and Kashmir has changed over the years. Even though there is this atmosphere of terrorism, things have reduced quite a bit. I'm talking about 2009, 2010, 2011. So all this conversation was happening in 2011. And he says, can we go? I said, yeah, if you wish to, we can actually go and let us see if we can do something. So Sandhya got very excited and she said, we have to explore Jammu and Kashmir. Let me find out details about this. And she's got down to finding out details. And she looked everywhere for details and here and there. And she could put together a very sketchy detail. The sketchy detail was this, that there were some great lakes. If you climbed up from Sonamarg towards the left of the national highway, the Srinagar-Leh national highway, and there were some 2 or 3 good lakes over there. One was called Vishnu Sar, one was called Kishan Sar. And then if you went from little below Sonamarg, and there was a town called Naranag. From Naranag, if you climbed up, you had this lake called Gangabal and Nandkol and so on and so forth, and many 4-5 lakes over there. And apparently, there was a trail connecting these 2 segments of lake, but very, very few people did that. Most people actually went up these 2 lakes over from the Sonamarg side, the Kishan Sar and Vishnu Sar, and over here they went up to Nandkol and Gangabal and all those lakes, and people actually went fishing there. And that also we got to know. But did we have any photographs or something? And Sandhya in all her research came across one photograph. And that photograph, Sandhya didn't believe it because it looked too good to be true. That it can't be possible. Such things exist in foreign countries, not in our country. But that's all there was there. And so she started getting in touch with people in Jammu and Kashmir who could help us do this exploration. After a lot of trial and error, she settled on somebody, a known horseman over there, a known kind of, he was a person who used to accompany local people on guides, some few foreigners on guides. And he used to guide them, and he said, okay, will you be able to show us the path? And we will come. And Sandhya actually announced it to the Indiahikes group that we are going for exploration in Jammu and Kashmir, will you join us? You won't believe it, after much hesitation and waiting, only 8 people signed up for that exploration, only 8. And Sandhya said, okay, I don't mind, let's take this group and we'll see what we can discover. So Sandhya landed up in Srinagar along with these 8 people, and there were some of them are new and do all this exploration and trekking, but she said, no, let us explore this trail, let us document this trail. So what Sandhya did was, she started climbing from the Sonamarg side towards this Vishnu Sar and Kishan Sar and wanted to see what could be beyond, and this person who was accompanying her had done this stretch. So he says, I'll take you along. I have gone this stretch once or twice. And she started doing that. And every day, and at that time, we could walk long. And that's how that whole trek was. They walked 25 kilometers, almost 30 kilometers every day. Frankly speaking, that whole trek was done in 4 days. They actually had 1 day's rest day. But if you ask me, they did that whole trek in 4 days. And they were able to go to Vishnu Sar, Kishan Sar. They were absolutely, they were taken aback by the sights of this lake. Sandhya, who has trekked for so long, couldn't believe her eyes that this is the kind of beauty she was seeing. The grasslands especially absolutely was mesmerized her. The lakes, the alpine lakes, in the cauldron of all these big mountains, the glacial lakes with such fantastic colors, she couldn't believe it. And she carried on in the journey. She came across Gatsar and then Satsar, and then from top the Gangabal and Nandkol, and she got down and she actually completed the trek in Naranag. I remember she was so excited about this trek, she gave me a call. by walking some 2 or 3 kilometers away to get a signal, which some shepherd had said, if you stand on that stone, you'll get a signal, which she did. Mind you, a single lady up in the mountains roaming around over there, it's absolutely not, you don't feel that safe in the evening. She went there just to give that call to me. I was in Bangalore at that time. And in that patchy signal, I heard what I had to hear. I knew we had the trek of a lifetime here. And it was not easy for them to do this documentation and exploration of this trail, because even the army camps over there were very surprised to see Indians trekking there. He says, you Indians have come from where? Who are you? When they said we are trekkers and things, they didn't believe it. Because they had not heard of Indians trekking there. 1 or 2 foreigners here and there, they would practically drive them off. But that's how it was. And we landed up there with 8-member team and so on and so forth, and successfully did that trek. So when Sandhya actually came back and then narrated the whole story, we just knew it. We knew it that this would become India's greatest trek. And we couldn't contain ourselves. We started talking about it on Facebook and this and that and whatever was the medium at that time. And then the whole country got to know that Indiahikes has actually gone and done this exploration and documentation of this trail. And the next year, when we actually launched the trail, this was the only trek in our entire history, even until today, where the groups got filled much in advance. Everybody was kind of waiting to trek in Jammu and Kashmir. All the groups got filled. Such was the response to the trek, even without us even telling people that this would be. So, the whole contribution of Indiahikes in trekking in Jammu and Kashmir, and that's why many of our Kashmiri friends, they take a lot of objections saying that, oh, you didn't explore, this trek. Yeah, we did not explore. This route always existed. But what Indiahikes did was, these 2 treks that we are talking about, we were able to stitch it together from the Vishnu Sar, Kishan Sar to the Gatsar, via the Gatsar to Nandkola and this thing. That stretching, that linking was done. Now the link always existed. Shepherds always went. Trekkers also went. Very few trekkers also went. But when we stitched it together and made it one complete semicircle from this side to that side, from Sonamarg to Naranag, and then started talking about it, is when our country discovered the possibilities of trekking in Jammu and Kashmir. As I had told you at the very beginning, prior to that, trekking in Jammu and Kashmir was, no, we cannot go there, it is too fearful to go there. The moment we documented this trail and brought it out, the fear vanished from Indian trekking circles. Indian mainland connected with Jammu and Kashmir as a trekker. Trekking got connected. While this trek existed, and I have to tell this to our friends in Jammu and Kashmir, yes, it always existed, but it was never known to the mainland. What Indiahikes did was brought it out and get it known to the mainland, and the very next year we saw this explosion, and there was no looking back after that. And then the Kashmir Great Lakes trek became what it is. One of the greatest treks of our country, one of the most well-trodden treks of our country, and now one of the most popular treks of our country, perhaps the popular trek of our country. So that's the legacy Indiahikes had. In 2011, we documented and brought it out, and it became what it became today.